lollop over from the mainland, nevertheless, and airlift him to Glasgow. He was in traction for 6 weeks, broken bones and compressed vertebrae. He hated the army, didn't want to go back, and was never happier, they told me, than when he was lying there, immobilized, contemplating his mad descent. A couple of years later he went missing in Dundee after a night's drinking, and was believed murdered, or drowned, until they found his body in a disused factory. He had been climbing on the roof, and it had given way. In 2012, at the age of 42, I decided that I would travel to see the 42 or so extant paintings by Pieter Bruegel the Elder. A mania for Bruegel had recently gripped me, and I had been thinking about little else. And then, in early May of that year, I realized that all of the paintings, except one, hung in public or publicly viewable collections. All were reachable. I suddenly saw that there was a great Bruegel object out there, dismembered like the body of Osiris, and strewn around the museums of Europe and North America, and I set myself to reconstitute it. I drew up a spreadsheet on which I recorded where the constituent limbs and parts of this prostrate god were located, and started to plan my journeys. The landscape with the fall of Icarus, while it is on my spreadsheet, has been downgraded to a section devoted to probable copies, misattributions, and mislabelings. Icarus is not one of the 42, is not authentic Bruegel, but most likely a copy. It is unsigned and undated. It is painted on canvas. Most spreadsheet Bruegels are on wood panel, and can be dendrochronologically confirmed, and those that are on canvas are not in oil, but in tempera. Radiocarbon dating of the Icarus is inconclusive. There are ambiguities in the calibration curve, thick layers of oxidized varnish which mask colours and throw off precision, but the samples of the oldest canvas harvested suggest a date from the end of the 16th century or the beginning of the 17th, 30 years after Bruegel died. In January 2011, however, this doesn't much matter. The spreadsheet is a year off, and the Icarus is the reason I am in the Bruegel room. I am drawn by its fame. W. H. Auden wrote a poem about it. So did William Carlos Williams. Everyone has seen it, in reproduction, if not in fact. I am in Brussels waiting for a friend whose flight is delayed. We are supposed to be on our way to Bruges, but I have a few loose hours to fill. I leave my bags at the station and walk up into the centre of the city and locate what Auden called the Musée des Beaux-Arts. Museums are safe havens, international space. No one looks twice at you in a museum. No one expects you to speak French, for example, as they might elsewhere in Brussels, in the real city. So I have a cappuccino and a croissant, and I automatically belong. I start to breathe easy. The museum is extensive, however, and, my coffee done, I get a little lost wandering in the modern wings. It turns out there is such a thing as 19th century Belgian art, and a big thing it is. But eventually I clamber up to the upper galleries where they have constructed a chronological circuit from van der Weyden to Rembrandt and Rubens, more or less. I pick a door at hazard. It is the wrong door, and I make my progress clockwise, back through history. I freefall past Rembrandts and Van Dycks and other brown paintings, start to meet some shuddering resistance around the end of the 16th century, and I am still some distance away from the 15th century Flems where I expect softly to touch down and walk with the strange beasts in Eden, when I happen into the corner room of Bruegel's. Here is Icarus.